Hey gang, just going to throw together a quick video here on how to repair a base and edge delam. It's from an impact. She's not very pretty, and if you don't take care of that, it's just going to come apart even more. So to do this repair, you only need a handful of tools. The most important thing is a good two-part epoxy. That's also flexible and can withstand cold temperatures. As well, it bonds to all different types of materials, metal, fiberglass, plastics, etc. But as you can see, you have the epoxy as well as a heat gun, some C-clamps, hand spring clamp, a couple of little small screwdrivers, a dental pick, and a plastic scraper. So the first thing to start doing on this repair is take your small screwdriver, wedge it open a bit, take your dental probe or whatever else you can use, and just start picking out any loose debris that's in there and anything that's going to get in the way of the bond. I'm using a Rowdite 2011 two-part slow cure epoxy. It's flexible. You notice that I've measured out sort of two equal amounts approximately onto some release paper. The reason for the release paper and why that's so important is that if you use, say, standard newspaper or something that absorbs, the hardener won't, the catalyst won't work properly, and the bonding occurs from a chemical reaction. So I just found through experience that using any sort of coated paper, waterproof coated paper, little mixing cups, coffee cups, the inside of coffee containers, stuff like that work the best, in order to give you the best bond. And you want to spend about a minute mixing it. Alright, so I have a screwdriver in here, sort of levered it open. It's in the center of the repair, and I'm just going to goop some epoxy, start down, get that end there, and then really load it up here in the base delam area. Don't worry about making too much of a mess. So at this point, the epoxy is, it's somewhat in there, but one of my little tricks to, allow the epoxy to penetrate a little bit is to hit it with a heat gun, just on a light, low setting, and just warm it up. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, if you'll be able to follow how the epoxy it's a little more viscous and starts to spread out downward into the damaged area. Okay, so we're ready to clamp this baby and tighten her up. I'm going to take release paper and just line both sides of the repair, and a nice flexible plastic scraper. Since this is at the tip area, I'm going to need this scraper to flex with the tip. If you use too stiff of a scraper, you can actually alter the shape of the tip. And then my third hand, this is where the spring clamp comes into play. But as you can see, I have it clamped there, and I'm just holding it in place while I go over here and I throw on a C-clamp and start pressing this all together. Now you don't want to clamp too tight, but you also don't want to be too loose as well. It really all depends on the nature of the repair, how much compression you need to add with the C-clamps. And now we're just going to store the ski flat and put it somewhere it's not going to get knocked for the night. Come back tomorrow morning and we'll take it apart and do a little bit of cleanup and some finishing. So it's been 12 hours now and the epoxy should be cured by now. You can actually test to see how your cure is by taking your mixing paper here and feeling it for tackiness, and it should just peel right off and into a solid form. Now if it's still sticky, let it sit for another 12 hours or so. Causes of it not curing is an inappropriate amount of hardener versus resin, and or it's old epoxy. Epoxy just doesn't last forever. It's good for a few years and then it starts to go bad. To do the final finishing here, you just need a body file, a razor blade, a little bit of sandpaper, and we're going to be good to go to pull off the clamps. So now we're ready to get rid of the clamps. Come off fairly quick. And since we used a release paper, we're not going to have any issues of anything sticking. And there is the repair in a rough form. Bring that a little bit closer. Came out pretty good. And we do have a bit of epoxy overhanging there, and we're going to tackle that with the razor blade first because it can cut this soft epoxy very easy, and finish with some body file and some sandpaper. Alright, well, for final finishing here, we have some nice hard epoxy here. I'm going to try to cut it a bit here with a razor blade. Just kind of following the edge here, and this is just to get rid of most of it, sort of reduce some body file time. Razor blade's also good for peeling the epoxy off of the base. A little bit easier to do if it's base up, but the bulkier work, I'm going to go to the body file here. And now quickly take down this epoxy. Get your sidewall all flush and clean. Alright, so there you have it, about 10 minutes worth of work. And it's not going to look factory new, but the whole point is you've sealed everything up. You're not going to allow any snow to get in there or any water to get in there and then refreeze and expand and delaminate even further. It's about 10 minutes worth of work, and it'll save your equipment for at least another season. Thanks a lot for watching.